Evening, everybody, and welcome to our latest live hour of cricket chat, brought to you with association with Scrivens. This week has brought very welcome news, of course, that we're going to have some cricket this season, hopefully from August the 1st. We welcome that very much, of course, and we also welcome tonight as our two special guests, two members of the Bears team that hopefully will be playing on August the 1st. Seam bowler Olly Hannon-Dalby, who led the injury-ravaged Bears attack brilliantly last season with 44 championship wickets at 25 apiece, and batsman Sam Hain, long a linchpin of the Bears top order, and now, of course, getting embedded in the England squad. Olly, welcome to you. Back in training yesterday with the Bears, and I would imagine champing at the bit.
Hi, thanks for having us, Brian. Sort of a bit randomly. I think if you'd have asked me a month ago, I don't think we'd have been anywhere near a cricket ground, but lovely to be back at Edgbaston both yesterday and today playing a bit of cricket, which, like I say, if you'd have asked me a month ago if that had been happening, I'd have probably said no. So absolutely brilliant to be back at Edgbaston training. Brilliant.
And Haney, it's been a strange time for everybody. You returned to training as part of the England setup last week, of course, at Edgbaston, and then all the Bears back in this week. Good to be back amongst them, I would imagine.
Well, yeah, I a bit like same a couple of months ago, we didn't think we'd get a season. So, to be back training, I was in with Fabi last week, dusting off the cobwebs. But to see everyone this week, obviously, it's nice. Everyone's looking fit. And as you say, chomping at the bit to get going. The bowlers are looking fresh, and I think everyone's just keen to, if we can get a season, get back into it and play some cricket. Definitely.
Well, I'm sure all the Bears members are looking forward to watching you play. I'm sure you're also champing at the bit to get to the questions, fellas. So let's do that.
Bring them on. Bring them on.
How many have we got in so far? We were expecting thousands, me and Haney. Surely
probably millions.
We're at 10.
But first of all, to all members who sent in questions, thank you ever so much for doing that, of course, because that's what drives these shows. It wouldn't be the same without questions, would it? So thank you ever so much to all members who have sent them in. They could come at either of you at any time, fellas, and they're a bit random as always. Really diverse bunch of questions. First one is for Olly from Barry Calder. Thank you, Barry, for your question. And here's Olly. It was a joy to see you come so good last season. What were your favourite performances with the ball last season, and why?
Well, first of all, thanks, Barry. That's a lovely comment. It was nice as well, to be able to put a season like that together. To play a big part in a championship season is something I've always wanted to do. And, I've had to bide my time a little bit, wait behind players like Chris Wright, Keith Barker, Ricky Clark, great bowlers for the Bears. But yeah, it was sort of nice to prove to the club and myself what I can do. Favourite performances last year, Somerset away. These are personal performances. Somerset away when I got five for quite some time was, I was got quite emotional about that because of the reasons I've said. I thought maybe I'd never get another 5 for, or maybe I thought my career was over from time to time. So to do that was great. And then York away, to play Yorkshire away in York, absolutely beautiful town, beautiful venue. To beat them, to make a good contribution myself. That was a very, very special week, and always nice to do over the Yorkies. So yeah, that was a good week as well.
And just to follow on from that, actually, Olly, a question from John Westwood. He said, "Do you think that being given the new ball last season helped towards your success and helped towards, of course, you ordered your county cap as well, which must have been a very nice moment."
Yeah. Again, got a bit emotional when I got given my county cap. I, purveying myself as a bit of a crybaby here. There's no doubt about it. Bowling with a new ball is, something I want to do. Bowling with a new ball is, the best time to bowl. It's going to do more. It's going to swing more. So that's something I really relished and really enjoyed last year. Like you mentioned, we did have plenty of injuries, and that's not nice. But those injuries gave me opportunities. So that's something I really enjoyed. And to get my county cap for Warwickshire is something that's sort of been on my bucket list ever since I moved here, really. And like I mentioned earlier, it's something I thought perhaps wouldn't happen a few years ago. Maybe I've doubted that would ever happen from time to time, but for it to happen last year was really, really special. And I suppose what's important now is to build on that, both as a club and me personally to crack on and try do the same again this year. What's left of it, and then in the following years. And
of course, if everyone is fit and firing in the seam bowling department, there's a fair bit of competition there, isn't there?
Oh, definitely. And obviously, we've just added to that with Tim Breslin, who's going to be a great signing for us. But yeah, if you look around the nets, sometimes it's frightening. Olly Stone flying in, Henry Brooks flying in, CD flying in, Liam Norwell, Craig Miles, and then some of the young lads we got to see last year who perhaps wouldn't have got a chance if we didn't have the season we did have with injuries. But people like George Garrett, Ethan Brooks got opportunities and showed us all that they're good bowlers, and they've got their part to play. So the nets at times for people like Sam can be a tasty place to be, which is really, really, really good.
Thanks, Ollie. Thank you for the question, Barry, who also says all the best to you and you both for the season when it finally starts. Now, question now for Sam from Elizabeth Homer. Thanks for the questions, Elizabeth. She says, tell us about your training with the 55 with the England training camp. Of course, it wasn't with England, was it, Hain? You were just in at Edgbaston earlier than the rest because you were in the 55 selected. But it must have been really nice to be part of that 55.
Yeah. Well, obviously it came out of the blue a little bit, if I'm being honest. Obviously, I was away in the winter with the Lions back in Oz, which was, awesome being back there and playing a few guys I grew up with, and, to play against them. So we obviously came back and, straight into lockdown, which was a bit strange. But, to get back hitting and, part of the, I guess a 55-man, training squad is always nice. Obviously you take that aside just to get back hitting, and obviously it looks like we're going to have a season somewhat hopefully soon, finding all goes well, and it's just nice to be back and doing what I love. So not going to lie, having a little bit of a break was nice because it's been a while since I've had a little bit of a break. So I feel refreshed. Feel like things are back on the right track, and I guess we're ready to get going again.
And another question actually from Elizabeth, Sam. She says, is there any particular player that you've seen as a role model as you develop as a batsman?
Is there anyone I've seen as a role model? Oh, look, there's people I've enjoyed watching over the years, Olly Hannon-Dalby being one of them. I like, if I'm being honest, when I first moved over, I did talk a lot with Trotty about batting, and he won't admit it, but I feel as if he took me under his wing a little bit. I worked out with him out in Oz, and I find I can really talk to him about batting, and obviously with him doing what he has done for Warwickshire and England, you feel like you can tap into his knowledge. So, as I say, he won't admit it, but I feel as if he's looked out for me when I was 18, moved over until now. So he is probably someone when I first moved into the dressing room, I did really enjoy talking to and watching him bat. That's for sure.
Question from Michael Ratcliffe to both of you. Thanks, Michael, for sending in your question. And it says, having been unable to train with teammates for quite a length of time, how easy is it for a bowler and a batsman to practice their specific skills? I guess, Ollie, for a bowler, is there too much you can do in lockdown other than just work on fitness?
There were bits and bats we could do. So you can stay relatively fit. You can do. I know to start with at lockdown, you're only allowed to out of the house. What was it, for an hour a day? But you can go on plenty of runs. You can do plenty of workouts in your garden. You can stay relatively fit. But we all know cricket fitness is slightly different. Since the lockdown started to be eased, we've been able to maybe casually go to the odd net down at a local cricket club, whether that's, Harborne close by or something. If the net might be free, I might, wang a few balls into the net once a week, something like that. But certainly nothing organised or certainly nothing official. So this week to get back at Edgbaston, and yesterday we bowled out in the middle, just on a wicket into a net, and then today managed to bowl at batters was just absolutely brilliant. But yeah, it's a very fair point that cricket fitness is very different to just being generally fit, and I think that's one of the concerns about the medical staff have, that we have no idea what the fixture list looks. Although there is a season coming, which is fantastic. We have no idea what that fixture list looks like. So whether it's 4-day cricket or white ball cricket, it's going to put different stresses on the squad and on you individually. So I think if it's 4-day cricket, us bowlers need to get our workloads up pretty quick to get used to bowling 20, 25 overs a day again. White ball cricket will be slightly easier on us physically as bowlers, but yeah, it's a good question. You can stay fit, but it's probably not cricket fit in lockdown. I'd say that.
And Hain, as a batsman, is there anything you could do in lockdown to practice your skills?
I was going to ask my missus to throw at me, but I don't know how that. If anything, I've practiced my golf chipping, but in terms of batting, no, I'm going to be honest. I did nothing. There might have been a few things that you could maybe have done, but I saw it as an opportunity to work on my chipping in golf in the backyard we have. But yeah, Ollie is right. You could go for the occasional run and that sort of thing. But in terms of cricket specific, it is tough. It is tough. Hence why, being back at Edgy now is, such a blessing to, I guess, get back into it and get back up to speed as quickly as possible.
You say it's tough, Hain, and this leads on to the next question from David Whittingham, who says, how have you both been trying to obtain and maintain good mental health during the lockdown? Because, of course, it's a very strange world for everybody, isn't it? And cricket is just like everybody else has got to deal with just being locked down, and you guys are athletes. It's all about being out and about and being physical, isn't it? So that must have been strange.
Yeah. Ollie, I'll wait. See if I'll lead it, mate. Don't worry. Yeah, I think each obviously react different. I came back from Oz, so I obviously finished the Lions tour, had 10 days out on the Gold Coast, obviously seeing mum and dad and friends, and then I came back. So I think that UK were going straight into lockdown. So, it took a while to obviously I landed, and I didn't see Ollie or any of the lads for a while. So it was just my missus and I, basically here. And you are right. I think the key for me was I saw it as a good opportunity. Obviously, we just bought a house and put off, quite a few jobs that needed doing. So for me, I was quite busy, and as much as I hate doing it, I was saying before, I hate painting. So I had to get a bit of painting done, put some hedges in, painted the backyard, all sorts. So I was actually quite busy, and I found that the best way to deal with the mental health, rather than just sitting on the, couch and watching TV. I try to keep as busy as possible, and I guess going for runs again, like just trying to keep busy inside and out, was the best way for me to deal with it. But you are right though. I think each dealt with it differently, and it at times it definitely was tough towards the back end, but. As soon as the golf courses opened up, I was playing 4 times a week. So, yeah, but there was a stage there, as you say. I think the key was just to keep busy. That's for sure.
Yeah, I guess that applies to everybody, doesn't it? Ollie, how have you been?
Yeah, I mean, Sam's right. I think getting some sort of routine was key in lockdown. I think you can procrastinate a bit too much, and before you know it, it's midday and you've done nothing. So yeah, try to get myself up and about and doing. We've got a great S&C department at Warwickshire. Jack gave us some great workouts, so trying to get up and about and doing them as quickly as possible, getting my workouts done, and then stuff like this. We did lots of Zoom calls as a squad, because obviously we're a very social entity, a cricket team. We're used to living on top of each other, used to sitting next to each other in changing rooms, seeing each other every day, and then for that to just stop. And like Haney says, I've been at home with my partner as well. You sort of miss the lads, and as well as missing the game, you miss the banter and you miss the chat. So once a week we did calls like this. Both the club and the PCA were brilliant in putting together calls like this. And Farby, to be fair, every Monday we had a Zoom call, and we often had special guests. So 1 week we had Andrew Strauss. The week after, who did we have? We had what's the rugby coach called? Haney, I've forgotten.
Eddie Jones.
We had
Jonesy.
Steve Bruce. We had all these brilliant.
Big Kumar Sangakkara came on.
Kumar Sangakkara. So just to sort of pick these guys' brains for an hour and then have a bit of banter with the lads on a Zoom call as well. It sort of kept us sane as well, which was really, really good.
And of course, there was, I think you guys both took part in the Make a Call campaign. Ollie, you spoke to Keith, didn't you? A very popular guy. All the members will know Keith, who's front of house at Edgbaston in the main reception area.
Yeah, spoke to plenty of people, like Vinod as well. Vinod, we spoke to him. But yeah, that was a really lovely initiative to sort of speak to some of the members who might be in that vulnerable category, and just have a chin wag about cricket, really, or lack of cricket was really nice. But yeah, that was a really nice initiative by the club, to be able to speak to some members and see how they're doing and what they're thinking, and if they're missing cricket was a really nice thing to do. Yeah, enjoyed that.
Question from Carl Jordan. Thanks as always, Carl, for your questions. To you both, first of all, maybe to come to you, Haney. Besides Edgbaston, which is your favourite cricket ground and why?
Obviously, Lords is up there, but we'll take Lords because that's just, a no-brainer. What ground do I like? Do I love? To be fair, I associate it with plain and simply where I score runs. So if I, I've got a thing for Trent Bridge because usually it's quite flat and small. So I remember making my T20 debut at Trent Bridge, which was, a good game for me personally and for the team. So it's somewhere where I've always loved batting. Obviously due to it's usually quite flat there, and obviously small boundary. I'm trying to think where else. Yeah, I'd probably say Trent Bridge. I can't think of anything else, to be honest with you. I can tell you grounds I don't like just because I can't score any runs there. Old Trafford being one of it's always a Bunsen burner at turns. I can't get it off the square. So that's definitely one. But Taunton. I'm just throwing names out of the hat here, but I would say, if I were to pick one, I'd say Trent Bridge, that's for sure.
Okay, mate, nice one. Ollie, your favourite?
Haney just listing grounds he's played up there. Cheers, Haney.
He's got Sussex. I like Sussex. Sussex by the sea.
Lords, got to be Lords. Some fantastic games of cricket there. I actually quite often, like Haney says, you tie your own performances to venues, and I touch wood and generally bowled quite well at Lords. So Lords is an unbelievable place to play. That and Copper Cricket Club, my first ever village cricket club back in Halifax. Copley's wedged between two railway tracks and one this humongous viaduct going around the west side of the ground. This gorgeous viaduct, and it's absolutely beautiful. So yeah, the Lords and Copley will do for me.
A bit of a no-brainer in it all. It's such a generic answer. Come on, the members want to hear. Obviously, Lords is up there. We want to hear what else is there.
There's a few good ones.
Durham. What about Durham? No. The Riverside.
Too cold. Although you're right, I quite like Taunton. Always seem to bowl well at Taunton. So Taunton, I don't mind Taunton.
Green nipper, that's why, isn't it?
Yeah, they always leave it green and nibbly.
Yeah.
Another question from Carl to you both. What's the most memorable game that you've played in for Warwickshire?
Whoa.
The most memorable game, I think, has to be the Lords final in 2016 that we won, just for absolutely ridiculous day. They got off to an absolute flyer. I think they were 40 for none off 6 overs, and then Laurie Evans took a great catch at mid-wicket. And from that moment on, just everything went perfectly. It was bizarre walking off halfway through a final thinking, well, we've won that because we bowled them out for 130 runs. And just the crowd down in the bottom right-hand corner, I forget the name of the stand down at Lords, the noise from the crowd down there was just absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, like I say, just this bizarre feeling thinking, well, we've hammered them there, we've won there because we bowled them out for 130, we'll knock these off easy. And then as we're knocking them off easily, just thinking, this is, this ridiculous, this shouldn't happen. So yeah, that Lords final where we beat Surrey convincingly was very, very memorable.
Haney, that was your first Lords final, wasn't it? Would that be your favourite Warwickshire memory?
Yeah, obviously we talked about it yesterday briefly, and it's funny on days like that, you wish you can soak it in because it just, everything's happening, a million miles an hour, and you sort of get lost in the moment a little bit. And I said to you, obviously thinking back on it, it's all a bit of a blur just because you're caught in the moment a little bit. Like I said, like walking around the ground, obviously with the the medal around your neck, and you've obviously champagne, trying to get the champagne out your eyes, obviously, and you can hear the members, clapping, screaming, singing. That's obviously something that will, stay with me for a very long time, because that's obviously the, first final I've, been involved in, especially after 2014. I remember being in the stands watching. That went properly down to the wire. And then obviously, the tight games, as Olly said, you feel like halfway, we've won this, but all it takes is a few wickets, and anything can happen on a Lord's final that you can quickly find yourself, up against it. So,
yeah, but now you say it. There's remember the T20 quarter final against Surrey. Always against Surrey, by the way. At the Oval. That was a ridiculous game of cricket. When they,
I was going to say that.
Yeah,
that was one of the best games I've been involved in.
Yeah, that was one of the best games of cricket I think I've played. The finals obviously great to win, but that game of cricket was ridiculous. It was the flattest pitch in the world. They were whacking it everywhere. Even then they got 200, and we were like, we'll chase this. This is flat. Well, don't worry, we're getting this. It was a ridiculous game of cricket. Ridiculous.
Well, I don't think we got 200 anyway. Like I say our formula, but it used to be get a decent score. We used to always back our bowlers to, we could hold anything. So for them to get 200, as Olly said, the feeling in the dressing room was, yeah, let's give it a crack. Got nothing to lose. I felt like we could chase it. And, Polly first over hitting Jay Dern back for 6, like that was the way I think, that T20 campaign, I think maybe we need to go back to that sort of, free flying. You can easily, as a batsman, look at the risk too much and get yourself in a little bit of a rut. So I would say that game for me personally, as well as the Lord's final, because I think they're probably, probably the 2 biggest games I've probably been involved in. And obviously getting to finals day again, it's just such a long day and it's such a blur. And what a great sort of game those 2 were. That stick in my mind.
Well, there's some good 4-day. I mean, thinking back to last year, the 4-day win at Nottingham, when they got 500 on a real flat pitch, and then we knocked off 300 on. But that's a great win. Sibley got double 100 and 100. Is that right? I can't remember. I remember Rosie whacking Ashwin. That was a great win. Great to beat them in 4 days when they got 500 on the first innings. What? That's a great win. Like, ridiculous. The more you think about it, the more you remember, I suppose.
It's too many.
Yeah. Some great days.
It was a really nice win at York, wasn't it, as well? Because that was a big win in the context of the season. It was such a good place as well. That was quite a memorable game in many ways.
Yeah. I don't know what the outgrounds are always. I love the outgrounds because there's just some feel about them. I mean, Colwyn Bay the year before was brilliant. Tunbridge Wells that year was amazing. Even though we lost, they're just brilliant weeks. You're really close to the crowd. They feel a lot more intimate. The outground weeks are absolutely brilliant. So there's been a few outground matches that have sort of stuck in my mind. But you're right, York's a gorgeous place. But yeah, to win there and beat the Yorkies was nice as well.
Question from Peter Titmus. Thank you, Peter, for sending in your question. One for each of you for Peter. Firstly, Olly, what was your impression of playing cricket in Pakistan during the recent MCC tour? Must have been a really interesting trip.
Yeah, I mean, that was sort of out of the blue, really. So I was booked onto an MCC trip to go to Nepal in November, and then this Pakistan tour in February just came out of nowhere, really. I don't know if it was sort of last minute or someone had dropped out, but this opportunity to go play cricket in Pakistan for the first time to be an international touring side, first team to go back there in 10 years was unbelievable opportunity. And Kumar Sangakkara was the captain, and so obviously the headline being that he was part of the team that was part of that terrorist attack tragically 10 years ago. So he was sort of taking the team back there, and to be a part of that was absolutely unbelievable. I got to bowl the first ball of the tour at the Gaddafi Stadium in front of this. Essentially, they were watching a friendly. They were watching the MCC play the Multan Sultans, or was it? No, it was the Lahore Qalandars. Sorry, in a friendly, and the stadium had 20,000 people in there, absolutely going mental. And it was a really, really lovely tour to be part of. To be part of that taking cricket back to Pakistan sort of movement was absolutely brilliant. And essentially, the people there just absolutely love cricket. You know, all they want to do is talk cricket. All they want to do is say thank you for coming here and playing cricket. So it was an amazing experience, and it's a really lovely thing to do.
And you bowled the very first ball of the tour, Ollie. Did it pitch on, middle, and beat off? Was it?
Oh yeah, it wasn't a bad one. To be fair, I don't think Kumar plays much cricket anymore. So it was a decent ball actually. It nibbled away from a left-hander, and he shelled it. It hit him on the gloves, and he just like fingers there. Yeah, because I don't think he'd kept in a while, so it was a bit rusty. But yeah, nice thing to do.
Well bowled, mate. Well bowled.
Sam, from Peter, he says, Sam, how do you rate your chances of breaking into the England Test side over the next 5 years? I mean, you got your eyes very much on the one-day side, of course. Test
right.
side.
Why are you reading out questions Hain sent him himself? You can't send in your own questions, Sam.
I've written these, haven't I? Sorry, Bright. Sorry, rudely interrupt there from Ollie. Right. Oh, I don't know, Bright. To be honest with you, there's only, to be fair, this time off. If we're getting, you know, serious answers, this time off is, you know, probably giving me a bit of clarity in the sense that, you know, before looking at higher honours, I always felt that it was, you know, too far away because those teams were, you know, they were pretty set in stone in terms of the batting order. But, you know, it wasn't till recently seeing Sibbo doing what he did in South Africa, Popey, you know, Don Bess, all these young lads, you know, making their debuts, probably reinforced to me that, you know, it isn't so far away. Then you're a lot closer than what you think. You know, look, in 5 years' time, it's a definite goal of mine is to, you know, play any form of cricket for England, because that's ultimately, as a county cricketer, what you want to do. You want to, you know, play the highest you can. But ultimately, there's only so much in my control. So, and that scoring runs for Warwickshire, and it, you know, for whatever will be in terms of higher honours. You know, it's a definite ball. I don't want to look too far ahead. I just hope what I do, the selectors like, and, you know, if I put runs on the board and, you know, I put nothing on there, then, you know, that will take care of itself. But it's just a shame that we're not playing any cricket at the moment, that you're not able to do that. But hopefully with cricket around the corner, and obviously international cricket around the corner, you know, I guess I hope I'm able to put my name up in the lights. But, you know, until that, there's only so much I can do. I just got to be ready for, you know, if a chance comes, I'm able to take it. So, yeah, we'll wait and see. But, you know, I'm just looking forward to, you know, getting back and playing cricket.
I'm sure that chance will come, mate. Eli Z. Farn has sent us a question. Thank you very much, Eli, for your question. It is Ollie. You came to the attention of the Bears fans first when you took a 5 for Yorkshire against Warwickshire at Edgbaston in 2010. What are your recollections of that day?
Oh, thanks, Eli. You can ask me questions anytime you want. Good question, that. I do remember that quite well because that was my second ever first-class game. My first-class debut was against Surrey at the Oval, and it was the flattest wicket I think I've ever bowled on. And luckily, Mark Ramprakash fell over one and nicked one to slip, and sort of a big deal was made about that because he was chasing 100 hundreds at the time. The sort of headlines went, you know, Davy Tom nicks off Ramprakash. They didn't say that Mark Butcher at the other end whacked me all around the Oval and got 200. And I essentially got bowled that badly. I didn't play again for another year. So the game was the first game of the season in 2010, and it was my second first-class game. So I remember being a bit nervous, thinking, gosh, last time you played, you know, you didn't play for another year. You need to prove, you know, your doubt was wrong here. And it was a, you know, early season pitch, slightly tacky, not rapid. I just remember bowling well. I remember first innings I'd got 1 for something, and I think I was a bit nervous, floated it out a bit. And I remember saying to myself, second innings, come on, Olly, you know, charge in, hit the deck. I managed to get Trotty out early. He nicked one to Gully. Then he got Amby, hit him on the pad, and just ended up getting on a bit of a run, and, you know, got 5 for him. Yeah. I actually remember it quite well because it was a building site. The new stand was not there. We were getting changed over over at the City end. So I do remember it really well. Good memories.
I remember your name was new to the media, I think, at the time, and I remember thinking Hannon-Dalby. He sounds a bit posh, I have to say.
He's a posh lad. And are you trying to say that's not true, Brian?
Question for Brian. Question from Brian White. You, Sam. Sam, you've got a birthday on the 16th of this month. Happy cricketing birthday, says Brian. What's your favourite fielding position?
What's my favourite fielding position? To be honest with you, I did enjoy. I never thought I'd found myself in that, but I did enjoy the slips last year. It was somewhere, as I said, I didn't think I'd be anywhere close to it, because obviously I have a tendency to drift sometimes, especially in the long days in the field. But a position came up in there and I jumped on it, and it's somewhere I enjoyed. Obviously fielding in the white ball format, anywhere on the fence. I think as I try and get in a hot spot, and I try and be the one that's able to make a difference, or especially as a batsman, obviously I don't bowl, so I need to have another string to my bow. So for me in white ball cricket, that's trying to get to long on or deep mid wicket, so I'm able to take, I don't know, a specky catch or a run out, or just to try and make a difference. Otherwise, it can get quite, as I say, it can get quite boring and tedious if you're not in the hot zone. That's for sure.
You enjoy short leg, innit?
Yeah, I didn't say short leg because I'm getting hit more and more.
Yeah, you've done a bit over there, in there.
I did enjoy short leg, and then I found myself getting hit more and more. So the more that happens, I'm trying to get out of there now. But it's a great position. It's a great position at Taunton or somewhere that I remember. Obviously, when we had Barks would leave these massive craters, so Jeets would just fire them in. And that was great fun because you just felt like everything was, you felt like you were in for a chance every ball. I took a few speckies in there as well, which is always nice, didn't I?
I must admit you are very good at short leg. Can I tell the members a story about you being a short leg at Horsham?
Oh, I was going to swear that.
2014 season. I don't know if everyone remembers. We played Sussex at Horsham, and we lost. We had a really good season that year, but we lost to Sussex twice.
That's embarrassing.
And we're playing Sussex at Horsham. We had a full team out. Wokes is playing, Backs is playing. The works out, and Hain is at short leg to Jeets. It was a gorgeous week, like absolutely roasting down South Coast. Beautiful. Again, out ground. Hain is at short leg, and I can't remember who it was. Right under batter, pushes forward. Ball pops up and literally it went 10 feet in the air. It's a lollipop catch.
Yeah.
Jeets is celebrating, high-fiving, and it's like, yes, wicket. Hearing it, the ball goes up, it goes in the sun, and he goes, oh, and turns his back on it, and it drops on the floor. Jeets, a very passionate man, starts effing and jeffing, saying, what the hell happened there? Sam goes, oh, the sun was in my eyes,
The sun was in my eyes. I lost it.
I lost it in the sun.
Oh, my God.
Effing and jeffing, pandemonium for a few minutes. The batter takes his guard again. Jeets walks back to his mark. Sam, feeling a bit conscious, says, oh, never mind, Jeets, this time. Reaches in his back pocket and pulls out his sunglasses. Saying,
oh my! I forgot about this, didn't I? I tried to forget. I couldn't wear sunnies. It was my first year. I know Jeets is very passionate. Like we all know that he loves it. And as I say, I tell you, I lost it in the sun. I didn't see it. It was the most simple catch. But I didn't even realise that over it went. I gave Andy my helmet, jogged off. I said, sorry, Jeets. And then he saw me just put my sunnies on. Oh, it's fair to say I was trying to hide for the rest of that session and the rest of that game because
I can see
that was embarrassing. We live and we learn, don't we? We live and we learn.
It's looking a nice easygoing bowler like Jeets to do it off because just imagine if someone intense had been bowling.
I forgot about that.
All right,
We've had some moments, haven't we?
question to you both from Matt Grubb. Each of you in turn. Perhaps first of all, you, Ollie. What's your most memorable bowling spell for the Bears?
What's my most memorable bowling spell for the Bears? Well, I've mentioned it already. Loved bowling at York last year. I got a CB there, bowled pretty well. You know, I really enjoyed that. Yeah, I'd probably say that if I'm honest. You know, bowled really well at York. And again, it added to it. You don't tend not to remember the games where you bowl well and you don't really win. But yeah, to bowl well and it contribute to a very important win was really satisfying. So yeah, I'd probably say that last year, York.
And Hain, just one.
Hain, what's your most memorable bowling performance?
From the pavilion end at Lords, wasn't it? Low and air die full toss. Oh, you're bringing up all the good ones, aren't you? Oh, crikey.
Your most memorable innings, Hain, for the Bears. What do you reckon?
It's got to be my first 100 against Northants back in 2014. I think I was 18. You know, first season. I don't know how many games I was in, but it just seems obviously feels so long ago now, and it was so fresh face, and cricket was I felt so easy back then, just because there was no expectation, no nothing. I was just turning up and enjoying it and really loving it. Not to say I do now; it's just slightly different now. So I would say my first 100 for the Bears. That's for sure. Yeah, without a doubt, that one.
Okay, we'll stick with you, Sam. A question from Elizabeth again. Sam, do you have a preference for red ball or white ball cricket, as you had lots of success with the former initially and more with the latter in recent years?
Yeah, I love all three. I enjoy the challenge that each three gives you as a batsman. I find, as I say, 2014 was a great year for me in red ball cricket, because, as you say, there's no expectation on you. You're a little bit sink or swim when you first get thrown in there. And, it was not until, I guess, to the second and third year from a red ball side that I actually had to look at my game, because they weren't great years for me in terms of, runs scored. So the challenge definitely comes when you have a low, how you get yourself out of that from a red ball side. But I feel as if, again, from a red ball point of view, that I'm back on track. And last year I definitely saw evidence of that. There's as I say, I love batting in red ball or T20 or one day. It doesn't bother me. It's just, I'm just trying to be someone that can perform, across all three formats, not pick or choose. It's just in a county season, some seasons whether it be, I don't know why, but some you do better in white ball than you do red ball. But for me, it's just trying to find a balance between all three. And I guess that's the challenge in a county season is, the great players are able to do that. So for me, it's, giving myself the best possible chance that I'm, someone that's, able to do that consistently. And that's, I guess, what I strive for when I do play for Warwickshire, is someone that, hopefully not only a match winner, but someone that's consistent and a consistent performer in all three formats.
Thank you, Sam. Another question for you from David Whitlock. Sam, you were born in Hong Kong, played a fair amount of cricket in Queensland and Australia. What were the major factors in you coming to Warwickshire? How did you end up with the Bears?
Yeah, a large factor was me being a little bit of a terror child, if I'm being completely honest. I through Dad's connections, I had a family who moved from Scotland to the Gold Coast, and I ended up at a stint at Loretto School up north in Scotland when I was 14. So I went there for 2 months, and as a lot of the members may know, Michael Powell, who was I think he was director of cricket up there, or director of sport. So I got to know him, and he sent me down to Warwickshire. I think he found out I had an English passport, a British passport, and sent me down to Warwickshire. So I made my debuted against, I think it was Leicester at Derby at Coventry, North Warwick at 14. I didn't score any runs, but and then it just snowballed on there, really. I went back to the Gold Coast and then came back the following year for 2 months, just played second team cricket. And I'll never forget Dougie Brown sitting me down at, Coventry, North Warwick at the end of that and, saying, once you finish school, do you want to come over? We'll give you a 2-year contract. So, it's quite a big decision at 15, 16 to make. So I definitely, stewed on it and and ah, but, I signed it, came over here, finished school at 17, 18, and, I've been ever since. And now I bought a house, calling on home. My missus had moved over, happy as Larry. So it was definitely, on a little bit of a whim, and who would have thought that spending, 2 months on a school exchange would end up me having a career for the Bear. So it's just one of those things that, as I say, I said yes to, and, thank God I did, because, it's the best thing that's ever happened for my career. And I'm just really enjoying life at the minute.
Great to hear, mate. Question for Olly from Elizabeth Homer again. Olly, is there a prospect of the hugely enjoyable Bears podcast returning, and would you like to be in broadcasting when you decide to hang up your boots?
To be honest,
yes.
Rich Wilford is the brilliant host of that, and makes me look and sound a lot better than I actually am. We had planned this year, if a normal season would have progressed, we would have been doing season 3 in and around the T20. I think there is still a plan to do a T20 season. Whether we've got time and the ability to do a podcast, it's something I would certainly love to do. But whether it's possible or not, given what's going on, I don't know. But yeah, it's something I'd definitely be keen to do again. In terms of a career in broadcasting, I have no idea, if I'm honest. I like to keep my options open for a post-playing career. I'm doing a few coaching. I'm on a level 4 coaching badge at the moment. But what I'm going to do when I actually grow up and have to get a proper job, I have absolutely no idea. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to do something in broadcasting, but I don't actually know as yet. Keep that option open.
I think you'd be a very good guest on Strictly Come Dancing. If the call came, would you be?
Oh, I've seen it. Gun would be a great contestant.
I've actually. Are you getting the? So when I was at Yorkshire, the Gerard Brophy, it was his benefit year, and on the back of Darren Gough winning Strictly Come Dancing, he did a Strictly Come Dancing night, and he got some of the players. He got 3 of us to do a. He paid for dance lessons for a week, and we did a dance, and me and Kirsty won. So we won the Brophy Trophy for Strictly Come Dancing. So I do have a little bit of dance experience. So yeah, probably all right.
Question for you both from Carl Jordan. Perhaps you first, Hain. Which person has had the most influence on your career, and who do you go to now for advice regarding your game?
Yeah, well, so when I first moved, I obviously 2013, started 2014, I played a lot of second team cricket. So Tony Frost was, the second team coach at the time. So him and I established a relationship very early on. So I feel as if he's someone I can talk to, openly about anything, because, I was, as I say, 17, 18, half around the world. And cricket, as we all know, can be a tough game. So obviously you have the highs and lows that cricket obviously throws at you. And obviously added on to that, I didn't have much of a support network, when I first moved over. So there were definitely some dark times, especially early on. So he was someone that, I felt as if I could pick up the phone to, and it helps that obviously he knows a lot about obviously psychology and the mind and all these sorts of things. So he's someone that him and I, we've developed a relationship over that sort of period of time. So he knows my game, very well. So he's probably someone that's definitely had a lot of influence me since I've moved over. That's for sure. So I would say him, because he's definitely helped me, and he's continued to help me to, I guess, be better every day. And I feel as if I'm struggling or anything, I can pick up the phone and call him. So I'd probably say Frosty, that's for sure.
Thanks, Sam. Ollie, your biggest influence?
I think it's probably impossible to split three. But in my early years at Yorkshire, a brilliant bowling coach who took me under his wing from the age of about 15 to 21. In Steve Alden, he was absolutely brilliant in the early part of my career. Really looked after all the bowlers at Yorkshire. Really backed us, and was really guru of fast bowling, from the likes of Darren Gough right through to your youngsters like Ben Code, people like that. He looked after everyone equally, so he was brilliant. And then latterly, both Pop, who I wouldn't be at Warwickshire if it wasn't for Pop. Pop sort of got me here, took a bit of a gamble on me. And then obviously Pop left, and I had a brilliant relationship with Alan Richardson. Richo was absolutely brilliant for me. Really backed me. Again, taught me lots of stuff, but backed me. And then again, Pop recently coming back to the club has been awesome. And some of the success I've had over the last few years has been great. So I think it'd be impossible to split those three guys, all very different characters and all very different bowling coaches, but have all influenced me massively on the cricket field. So I'll probably say those three, as well as Sam. Sam's obviously a massive influence on on a day-to-day basis. So
Thanks, mate.
Just following up on that, actually, Ollie, Brian Goodkin asks, have coaches ever tried to restructure your action? Because, of course, that can happen with a ball.
What's wrong with his action?
Hey, what's wrong with my action, Brian? Yeah, if I'm honest, I mean, I don't watch a lot of footage because I don't really like the way I bowl, if I'm honest. And, I'm a very chest-on bowler. I've always been very chest-on. I used to bowl big in-swingers from a chest-on position. And then, worked on trying to get an away swinger. And then slowly but surely, I'd got me away swinger going, and the next batch of footage I watched, my arm was a bit lower. And it was from developing this away swinger from a very chest-on position. And that's basically where it all stems from, to deliver a ball that swings away from chest on, my body's found a way of, that you do it by lowering your arm a bit. So to get into that position, I have to gather a certain way, and then to gather a certain way, I feel like I have to run in a certain way to gather in that position. So, yeah, I mean, I've toyed with it myself. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and if I watch lots of footage of myself, I can sort of think, oh, that doesn't look right. I don't look like Jimmy Anderson there. Why don't I start? And that's not really a healthy place to be for me. I can end up tying myself in knots and trying to bowl like Jimmy Anderson. And the next thing I know, I might look like Jimmy Anderson, but it's not coming out very consistently. And I bowl best when I bowl like Oliver Hannon-Dalby. And I know it looks a bit funky, but at the end of the day, if it goes down the other end at a decent pace with some movement, and it's pretty consistent the area it lands in, then I'm pretty happy. So I have gone down that path before, but I think I'm going to leave it, given that I'm an old man now, age 30 odd. So I think I'll just stick to running in like a Tyrannosaurus Rex and try to swing it away.
I don't think the questioner was implying that you could change your action. It's just
wait till I see him down at Edgbaston.
Richard Jaros asks you both, where do our main hopes of winning a trophy in this shortened season lie? And just following on from that, Mike Williams asks, I mean, there are two options apparently before us. One could be 5 4-day games leading to a Lord's final and some 10 50-over games. Which of the formats do you think it would be easier to hit the ground running in, fellas?
This is a really tough question because we don't know as yet. I think there's a decision being made next week, the 7th. Is that Tuesday or Wednesday next week, on what the schedule looks like? And we're in the dark as much as anyone else. I mean, we've been training today at Edgbaston, and I've been bowling with a red ball because I want to see it swing, and that's what I fancied today. Hain has been hitting white balls to get ready for his England stuff. We just don't know. We try to cover all bases a bit at the moment. I would love to see a bit of 4-day cricket played, because we all know the merit that 4-day cricket has. I just want potentially, just from a logistics point of view, playing 50-over cricket and playing T20 cricket and travelling in a day and then travelling back might logistically be easier. So, I mean, if I'm honest, us playing a season at all is a humongous bonus, full stop. So if we play any cricket and if there's a sniff that we can win a trophy, that is just a bonus for me, given the year we've had and what's happened. But in terms of us winning trophies, yeah, we'll be absolutely try to win every single game we play. Probably easier to get into from a bowler's point of view, from a physical point of view, it might be easier to get into the shorter formats just because it's less taxing on your body. But I think this year we've just got to take us playing cricket of any sort as a bit of a bonus, really, if I'm honest.
Hain, I guess it'd be lovely to win something, wouldn't it? But I would imagine when you first take to the field for that first game of the season, everyone will just be clapping, won't they? It'd just be great to get out there.
Yeah. There's
no one will be clapping. There'll be no one there.
Oh, of course they won't.
It'll be you, Brian.
Where have I been for the last 4 months? They'll be clapping at home, won't they?
Yeah.
There's not much. To be honest with you, there's not much I can really add. I think Olly's hit the nail on the head, hasn't he? I don't think I can add much, to that answer. I think, the boys are just happy to, one, be training, and two, obviously on the horizon, hopefully all going well, that we're able to get some sort of a season. So, be lying if we do get back playing. We play to win. So, we're not really thinking about that. We're just trying to dust the cobwebs off and take it one day at a time. I feel as if, at the minute especially, that's all you really can do. You can't look too far ahead and, what might be and, what could happen. All we're happy about is, being in the fresh air and able to, I guess, do our jobs, because obviously we've missed that. So all going well and we're able to get back into the field and, get back at it, then we'll start thinking about, who we're playing and what we're playing. But at the minute, we're just, we're just happy to be out there and, back practicing again.
Yeah. Susan Billingham, thank you for your question, Susan. And it is to you both. What are your thoughts on our new signing, Tim Breslin? Not a bad signing, I don't think, Hain.
Yeah. Like, obviously, Brezzy adds a lot of, experience. He's been someone who's, played for England. He's played T20 over in Perth. He's, someone who's played international cricket. If you look at his record, he's played a hell of a lot of cricket, both first class and for England across all three formats. So I think Olly might be able to, from a bowling point of view, what he'll add. But from what I can see, he's going to be able to help, the next, batch of lads come through and able to, I guess, add a little bit of stability as well. So if we're being honest, he probably won't play. I hope he doesn't play as many games as possible, but he's just someone to, I guess, have round in terms of the environment and helping youngsters. And, he fits that role all rounder really, really well. I think, lower order runs are, quite crucial in 4-day cricket. Well, they're getting more crucial now. So, he's someone that can, apart from being a very skillful bowler who's played a lot of cricket, is able to score a few handy runs. And if he can, pass on his knowledge from what it takes to play international cricket, as well as helping the younger lads, then it's, it's a win-win for Warwickshire to have someone like him on board. Especially Olly will be happy because he's another northerner. So, but for someone who's, I guess an adopted Brummie now, just have someone like him on board, especially from playing against him over the years, how good he is. To have him playing for you, obviously it was no-brainer really for Warwickshire to get him on board.
I agree.
Well, Olly?
Yeah, like Sam says, brilliant cricketer, brilliant bloke. Someone who's got that sort of pedigree on the CV, Ashes winner, World Cup winner, Big Bash winner. They're a fantastic cricketer, obviously. And I think given, we probably were missing an all-rounder last year. So to have him in the changing room is going to be a fantastic asset. And we've got young all-rounders who can learn off him, the likes of, Craig Miles, Ethan Brooks. These sort of lads can learn a lot from Brezzy. So, yeah, I think it's a great addition.
All right, it's been a great hour, fellas. One more question to you both. It's from Eli Z. Farn, who asks, he says, you're both avid dog lovers. Now, dogs are not permitted in the stadium at Edgbaston, of course, whereas some counties do allow dogs in. Leicestershire, for example, even have dog members. Do you think Warwickshire should show a more enlightened and friendly approach to our four-legged friends? What do you think, Olly?
Interesting. Well, to be honest, Toby was sat in his bed down here, and I've been boring him that much. He's gone upstairs and probably laying down. So he's not here right now. I did not know Leicester had dog members. I thought you were going to say Somerset. Somerset always seem to have plenty of dogs and a cat wandering around the boundary. But yeah, good point. I mean, year like we've had, I presume memberships are, at premium. Why not have dog members? I'd pay for a dog membership, Toby. So yeah, good point. Toby could be an honorary bear. Absolutely.
Might just see what my dog's up to. I'll bring her out.
Hain,
Nice, yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, Sam Hain in lockdown.
Come here.
The guy who can bear has got a dog.
Gorgeous. And she's a legend at that.
Sam Hain has invested in it. It's a little Yorkshire Terrier, is it, or a West Highland White?
There we go. Hello.
And,
hello. Hello. Say hello. There we go, members. Meet the newest member. Hello. Mwah.
Well,
so that's what I was
ladies and gentlemen, that's the first on our Thursday evening webcams, the first canine guest we've had. Fellas, it's been an absolute joy. Thank you to you both. Haney, good luck for the season.
Worries. Thank you very much.
And Ollie, thank you for your time as well. And it'd be great to see you out there playing soon. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you ever so much for all your questions and for tuning in again next week. Do join us again when our guest next Thursday will be Ian Bell. So do let us have your questions for Belly. That will be a little bit later than the usual. It'll be 7:30 next Thursday, but do join us then. Thank you all. Until then, on behalf of Warwickshire County Cricket Club, stay safe and take care.